eager to impress their friends. It was a dizzying, if destructive, time.
It's looting on a big scale. Anything you can find, you just take away. And it doesn't matter.
But the treasure hunters had failed to find the valley's greatest prize, the tomb of Tutankhamun. All that was about to change. In 1922, the English archaeologist Howard Carter was a man obsessed. After years of research in the Valley of the Kings, he was convinced that one tomb was yet to be discovered. But for 7 years, Carter's workmen had turned up very little. His employer, Lord Carnarvon, was running out of patience and money.
Carnarvon said, "That's it. We haven't found it. It's over." Now, Carter just wanted one more season. He knew there was a little triangle that he hadn't excavated in the valley, and that was his last hope.
Carnarvon agreed to bankroll one final season. Carter set his men to work. Within days, a step was unearthed, followed by 15 more. Then, something came to light that no archaeologist had ever seen before. Almost 30 feet down was the sealed entrance to a tomb, its royal seal still intact. Behind lay a prize greater than Carter could ever have imagined: the tomb of King Tutankhamun. It had remained hidden for so long for a simple reason.
Over the top of it, very shortly after its construction, was built a workman's village, and the debris was dumped from the excavation at the tomb of Ramses VI. Egyptologists just simply didn't think of looking here at the bottom of what seemed to be a relatively inauspicious archaeological site.
Tutankhamun's tomb was filled with 5,000 priceless treasures. His solid gold coffin alone weighed almost 250 pounds. But Carter, unlike most of his predecessors, was in no rush to remove the artifacts and disperse them around the world.
Carter was a real excavator. One shouldn't think that this guy was a treasure hunter who just got lucky. He knew what he was doing.
Howard Carter did what no other archaeologist in the valley had done before. He painstakingly photographed and cataloged every single object in the tomb. For the first time, the modern world could glimpse the true splendors of ancient Egypt. Treasures were then transported to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, where they remain on view today.
The tomb of Tutankhamun, even now, so many years after, remains unsurpassed. Nothing like this has ever been found. And whenever there is a great archaeological discovery, you measure it on the yardstick of Tutankhamun. Is it as good as? But nothing ever is.
No new tombs have been found since Tutankhamun's. But recently, another major discovery has been made in the valley. In 1995, flood debris was being cleared from what seemed like a minor tomb, known as KV5. For thousands of years, this tomb was thought to have only 6 chambers. But when a doorway was unblocked, an amazing discovery was made. Behind lay a corridor with dozens of chambers leading off from it. KV5 turned out to be the largest tomb ever found in the valley. It was discovered by Egyptologist Kent Weeks.
We have corridors and passageways that go at least 150 meters back into the hillside. There are other corridors going off at transverse angles down the road here, at least as far as where those people are and probably beyond. We have corridors extending under the roadway in front of the tomb and beneath the hillside in this direction, taking it toward the tomb of Ramses II himself. We have other corridors going southward into the valley, nearly up to where Tutankhamun's tomb is located today. We've so far found 150 chambers. When you consider that most tombs here have 18 or 19 or fewer, that's quite a number. When you consider that the tomb of Seti I has 800 square meters in it, and this tomb has over 3,000, you get an idea of its remarkable size.
Discoveries such as KV-5 have drawn huge numbers of modern tourists to the valley. Every day, 4,000 visitors from around the world explore the tombs.
The popularity of the Valley of the Kings does cause problems. It's a real headache trying to tread the line between conservation and actually allowing people to enjoy the monuments as they stand.
With tourist numbers set to double in the next decade, the valley and its treasures are increasingly under threat.
We have a finite resource and we have to protect it. The only way we can protect it is to take advantage of every single new technique that shows potential and apply it as carefully as possible.
A piece of hardware, tested by the FBI to record crime scenes, has been brought into the valley for a different purpose: to map a tomb right down to the tiniest detail. If the experiment is successful, a permanent three-dimensional record of every tomb in the valley can be made.
The camera itself collects data at a rate of 125,000 points every second. The camera head consists of a mirror which steers the laser beam, and what it does is it spins through space 360 degrees, moves a laser through space, and that laser bounces off of whatever hits and comes back to the camera. And we measure the time it's been gone, essentially, which means we can also find out the distance.
Spinning at 900 revolutions per minute, its laser scans every surface of the tomb.
The laser camera allows us to go in, and instead of 15 years of recording a tomb, we can go in and make a relatively accurate photographic coverage in a matter of 4 or 5 hours.
The eventual aim is to make a three-dimensional record of every tomb in the valley available online. It will enable tourists around the world to explore every corner of a tomb without ever stepping foot in it.
If the tomb is destroyed, that's extremely sad. We will all weep for it, but at least we've got something for future generations.
The valley's future may be uncertain, but the promise of new discoveries continues to draw explorers, and no one knows what treasures may still lie beneath the rock.
A lot of people have thought that the Valley of the Kings was played out. Belzoni said, "That's it, I've found everything." And then came Carter and found Tutankhamun. And then came Kent Weeks and found KV-5.
The Valley of the Kings has not been picked clean. I don't think there's any site in Egypt that has been picked clean. Every time you look at a hillside in the Valley of the Kings, there is always the potential of something being there. There are more secrets in the valley that will turn up over the next several generations.
The Valley of the Kings will continue to draw archaeologists from all over the world.